Hello, thank you for tuning in. I'm Calixon, and I'm here to show you how my website works. The point of the website is to calculate the keyword distributions between your alacrity and accuracy, and it'll display the absolute best combination or distribution for either of those stats with your augments and your enhancements, or earpiece, implants, etc. I'll be using a series of different examples here, as you can see in my window, and the main point of this, I know that there's Google Docs out there that show you how to min-max and what to go for at the absolute endgame. However, you might not be there, can't afford the best augments, and so on and so forth. Maybe you're just going for a modest build, nothing endgame, but just enough to hit your 110% that there's no guides for. So that's what this site comes in handy for. You can plan how many augments you need and how many different enhancements or earpiece or implants to go for. Anyways, without further ado, I'll show you some examples. My website, unfortunately, is ultra bright. I will have to fix this eventually. But for now, once you go to calixon.com, just SWTOR gear tool. So here's the site here. So we'll start with accuracy. And we'll do an example with 340 gear. You want to work? There we go. Okay, so you'll notice by default, it's always just kind of set to blank, and you'll have to fill in the information. 110% accuracy is just filled in automatically, and it's always assuming that you have the 1% companion buff. You might not have it. To check it, you just have to click Y and take a look at your global unlocks here, and take a look at any of your companions that may increase your accuracy. I believe it's different for every character here, but crit damage, healing received, crit hit, and accuracy. So for Imperial Agent, it is Scorpio, for instance. But as long as you have one of them, it should unlock it for all characters, but just double check that and be sure that you have the 1% accuracy. Anyways, by default, it just assumes that you have it, so keep that in mind. And we are going to take a look at 340, which is 614, and the augment stat. We'll pretend that we only have the purples for now. So going to hide and seek, you're going to be able to get these 340 gears fairly quickly and easily, and these purple augments are fairly cheap as well, so it might be easier to go down this path when you're first building your character before you start absolutely going for endgame. 344 gear and the gold pieces. It's just a little bit of an easier build to go for. 108 accuracy. We won't do a stim just to show. We'll click calculate, and it's going to pop out the best distribution. So 3 enhancements and 8 augments is the absolute best at 110.03%. We can add a stim, and I don't have an accuracy stim on here, but you can see that the mastery is 264, so that would be the accuracy for the accuracy stat. So we can put in the 264, and we can calculate that. And then now it's saying at 110.07%, it's a little bit more accuracy, but you only need 4 enhancements, no augments, and accuracy. So you can go full crit augments instead. You will be missing out on the mastery if you decide to do a mastery stim, and you'll have less. Accuracy. However, you probably have a lot less crit too. So again, these are things that you can keep in mind when you're building your character. If you don't want to spend the augments on accuracy, this might be an option for you. It doesn't matter how close you are, honestly. A lot of these builds, as long as you're above it, that's all that matters. A lot of our classes are so overpowered now that you don't really have to min-max when you're just going for a modest build. Worry about that until you get to the end game. So with this in mind, we can go to alacrity, and we'll type in the same information. So we're just going to go for your standard tier 2, the 7.14%. So with no buff, it's 2054. And then the enhancement stats, 614. We'll pretend that we have an implant. So the implants cap out at 340, so it's always going to be 614 no matter what. If you do decide to have one and randomly decide to have 2, you can dynamically calculate this if you feel like it. Or if you have none, you can just toggle it off. But in this case, we're going to use 1, and I believe it was 108. Yeah. So, and then we'll calculate. And here it tells you with 2 enhancements and 1 bonus implant, These are actually the same, so it would usually just be 3 if I toggle this off. So you have 3 enhancements and 2 augments to make your 7.15%, which is still tier 2. It's the absolute closest you can get to that stat, so it's perfect. If you want to upgrade your augments and start focusing on gold ones at 340 for whatever reason, you can. That's the whole point of the site. So at 130, we can calculate, and here it says at 3 enhancements and 2 augments, and doing the same thing over here. We'll just change this to 130 for the augment stat, and we'll calculate it. And oh yikes, it says here that we need 14 augments, 1 enhancement, as well as the stim to get 110.01%. We only have a maximum of 14 augments. We can't go any more. So keep that in mind that we'll need that with some alacrity augments. So that's where the limit comes in handy. So we'll just click on the limit. And since we're at 14, we don't want to hit 14. So we'll limit it to 13 for now, just to see what the next closest possible amount is. If we want to change it to 2, we can. And there you go. It pops up what the next closest is. But if we hit 13 and calculate, it's probably going to be the same thing. And it is. So 0 augments with 4 enhancements and your accuracy stim. That is the absolute closest that we can make it. If we don't want to use that, we can toggle that to 3. And we can do that with 3 augments and 5 enhancements. You might not be able to get 4 enhancements. Enhancements will include your earpiece as well, so keep that in mind. But you might not be able to get all the enhancements either. So whatever you're accessible and able to get and go for, you can dynamically change how you want to build your character here. For whether you're going for absolute endgame or whether you're going for the lowest possible amount. So the best for endgame I'll do with alacrity here. At 2054, 640 I believe is the... Yeah, 640 is the highest alacrity. For our implant, we're still going to have 1 and then 614. And then our augment stat, we'll try the 318, 162. And we'll just calculate it, see what pops out. And here it says at 715%, we can need 2 enhancements, 1 augment, as well as the 1 bonus implant, which is the legendary implant. And that is the absolute best and closest that you can get. So it's a pretty handy tool. And if you want to share these results with a friend, just click the copy and share link, or just copy whatever's in the URL. But clicking the button just does it for you. And when you type it in, what happens is that the entire URL has all that information inside of it. So when you do click it, it displays and puts in everything for you on how you had it set. So it's great for sharing with a friend and showing how they can build their characters if you can help them or whatever. So anyways, I hope this video was helpful. I hope that this website is helpful. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me on Discord or contact me in the comments below. Anyways, thank you very much. Have a good day.